World. This is Johnny Mow coming to you today with a mower buying guide for your area. So you're sitting there and you're saying, Johnny, what mower brand? You don't like this brand. You don't like this brand. What mower should I buy? The mower that can cut grass in your area. So if you are a homeowner or you are a guy that's trying to get into the business, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go around while you're doing, maybe you're at work or maybe you're riding around. I want you to take a look and see what's on the trailers. If you start to see a common denominator, if you start to see a bunch of skags running around in your area, and what I want you to do is I want you to follow that lawn care company. If you see a bunch of skags or you see a bunch of John Deere, and go watch them cut a property, and you see that that property looks pristine, and you're starting to see that mower more and more, that is the mower that you want to look at. When you're buying a mower, you're not buying color. This is just an old Snapper Pro of mine. It's their biggest model. This is what you're buying. This is the first thing you're looking at is deck. You're not buying color, you're not buying brand, you're buying deck. The first thing you need, what can cut, because everything's the same. That's a Vanguard, that's a Snapper Pro. It comes on, you can get a Vanguard in a Skag, you can get Vanguards in different brands. These are hydro gears. Some use Parker. There's Parker and hydro gears. There's only two brands. There's only two brands of hydraulics that they're putting in mowers. What else? Your electric clutch, your motors, your pulley. It's not like we're exclusive. We're the only ones that sell Vanguard. We're the only ones that sell Kohler. We're the only ones that sells Kawasaki. Those are the major brands of engines. So just wipe those out. We'll get to those stuff here in a minute. But you're buying deck. Which deck can process the grass that I'm trying to cut? That's the most important part of this mower. It's not the color. It's not the price. It is what can cut the grass that I'm cutting in the transition zone. Right here. Too many people do this. They point the color, brand. I'm John Deere green. I'm orange. I'm red. You're foolish. What you're doing is you're buying this. The first thing you're buying is a deck. Can it process? The second thing is you need to find your price point. Now, in your price point, here's what makes a difference. Now, this is a big Snapper Pro. The engine options are phenomenal in the higher ends of the lawn line, but you're going to pay, $12,000, $13,000 for these mowers, 11.5 on up. This is a 36 Vanguard, so that's a big engine. It cuts beautiful. It's awesome, but your price point might be between 8 and 10. Now, what's going to happen is in the 8 and 10 price range, you're not going to get the great engine options. Now, I had a 3000 Toro with a 25 EFI, and it came in a 26.5 Kawasaki. What I found in the Toro, in that engine option, great mower, it just didn't have the power that it needed to have in the thick, lush grass. It was sufficient, but when you're side discharging, it just didn't have quite. You could hear the motor. I never hear this motor. Hardly ever do you hear this motor. The 28 EFI that I have on the Ferris that's sitting in the trailer, it is sufficient, but it just needs a little bit more horsepower. So be very careful when you're buying mowers that you can get the engine option that you need. If you're just cutting your home lawn, you're not going to let it get up there. The 25 EFI, the 28 EFI is fine. But if you get in a pinch and you're a lawn care professional and it's raining like it is right now, the grass is growing almost up to a foot a week. You're cutting at 3.5. It's growing up to 12 inches. Those smaller engines are not going to be able to keep up. So you're going to want to make sure that you can get the proper engine power. Now, the last thing you want to look at is comfort. This is a suspension seat. This is actually a Toro suspension seat. I need to talk a little bit more what's in there, so I'm not going to. It's a Toro suspension seat. It's very comfortable. I bought this. I had a suspension seat that was on here, but the Toro suspension seat I found is the most comfortable that I've personally used. There might be some other more comfortable ones, but this is comfortable for this mower. This is a backup mower. It only gets about 200-300 hours a year on it now, except for this time of year I am bagging a little bit. just out of convenience for myself. So in this time of year, you want to make sure that you have enough engine power and that you have the accessories that you need. So I want to talk to you about the pump size. The pump size. These pumps right here. These are 5400 hydro gears. I will never go anything less than 3100 in pump sizes. Preferably 3400 hydro gear makes. Parker makes a 3100. Hydro gear makes a 4400. It's on the Ferris. But here's something that's not talked about, and I don't see it anywhere. So one day, a couple years ago, it's been more than a couple years ago, I was going through hydraulic pumps like crazy in my old Ferris. And I just couldn't figure out like why. And it was ridiculous. I was getting like 600-700 hours out of them, and then boom, I had to replace the whole side. And then I finally figured it out. There's the reason. So when you buy one of these accessories, these triple baggers, doesn't matter which company you buy, you better have the big pumps. What I found out is the 5400 is the only series that can really take these baggers. My Ferris has 4400, and what I found out is when you load up the baggers and you load up all the metal, you got metal here, you got a weight kit here, and then you got this heavy boot that's right there. It goes on the side of this deck. What happened is the 4400s were right at the weight limit. So when you filled the baggers up, you were over the weight limit. You're overworking the pumps. Now the 5400s are big. So quick tip, Johnny Mowing tip, never talked about, you've never heard this talked about. So if you're going to get a triple bagger or even a double bagger, you got to make sure that your pumps are rated for the weight of the new bagger. So if you have like a Ferris, which is rated at 1,200 pounds dry weight, so you put gas in it and you put all this metal on, you put the boot on, and then you get the heavy grass, your pumps are going to heat up and they're going to start failing at a lot lesser hour. This mower is sitting around almost 1,100 hours, and these pumps have not went, and they've been really good. Now I took the bagging kit off that once I seen the rating, because I'm not going to replace these pumps here. Are about $1,800 to have them replaced, so that's a big expense. So you've got your deck, you've got your engine size, and you've got your comfort. Now as you get older, you might want to reverse that. You might want to go deck and comfort and then engine size, because you can pretty much get any engine size you want out of all the bigger companies. Like if you go with the upper X, the laser series of the X Mark, you go to the high, you can get the engine power that you need. But comfort is something completely different. As I've gotten older, 22 years in the business, you get fatigued quicker. Your legs hurt more, your knees hurt, your back hurts, and it's from bouncing around on a mower your whole life. And it's like, ugh, it's so uncomfortable. So you might want to go with comfort first. Now there are some companies that have a really great comfort. Skag Cheetah is a really good, comfortable mower. I see Toro MyRide. I'm not a big fan of the MyRide. I'm a big fan of Toro, just not a big fan of the MyRide. And you have Ferris, which is the utmost of comfort. But there's some trade-offs with that. There's some trade-offs. Comfort, you might not get the deck you want, but can you work with that deck? That's the question you have to ask. So you want to pick your deck and make sure it can cut in your area. Last thing I want to talk about is when you're buying accessories for this mower or any mower that you buy, you want to buy, if you do need to bag, which I do not suggest you bag at all. I bagged since 2001 up until 2 years ago, and it was the biggest mistake I ever made. I regret bagging. This bagger is used for my convenience right now. It's definitely not something I ever suggest anyone doing. Once you slap that bagger on, you can cut this mower's lifespan almost in half. I would say almost in half. You'll need the engine will wear out, the pumps will wear out, the components. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've already welded this. It's been welded here, here, here. Look right there. You can see, like already. Look, there's a, I tell you what, just because of this bagger system so heavy, it's just pulling on the back of that. Same thing with over there. Same side, same thing. You want something that's easily accessible. If you want a side discharge, you don't want to have to do anything extra. See, when I put on mine, it clips in here, and clips in here, and then you put the belt here. Real quick, real easy, on and off. I don't have to adjust baffle systems. I don't have to take parts out, so that way I can still get the great side discharging effect of this mower. Other mowers like Skag, they put extra baffles in there to help pull the flow of the grass into the bagger easier. Now, it's a great bagging unit, but if I want a side discharge with the Skag, I got to take that baffle out. I don't have to. I can side discharge with it, but it's not going to give you the performance of the deck at its original state because it's been modified. The baffles have been modified. Toro, same thing. You have to unscrew a bolt right here and then right here, and then you move the baffle out so that you can use it as its best setting. Or otherwise, you have to keep it on its B setting. So you unscrew a bolt, up, back. You may say, well, Johnny, that's not that bad. It is when you do it all day. If you need to go back to back, will it cut on the B setting? It will, but it will not cut. It'll throw more clumps on the B setting than it will on the A setting. So, because basically you're moving the baffle back and forth. You do that 3 or 4 times a day, cutting 10, 11 lawns, that takes time, and you don't want to have to do that. X-Mark is on and off. X-Mark is on and off. It's a great accessory. It's just, you pull a pin, undo the belt, flip it out, pull the unit up off, and it's out. 2 seconds. That's what you want. So when you're buying accessories, make sure that there's no extra things that you can get on and off, getting that unit on and off easily so you can side discharge. So the last couple minutes, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about bagging. Since 2001, I think it was 2001, I bought my first bagger. We had a wet year. I just decided I was going to go bag, and then I got addicted to it. I just bagged everything all the time, no questions asked. When I started running numbers, and back then the bagger units weren't so bad. I bought my first bagging unit. It was two bagger for $1,800. This bagger here was $3,200. I just priced out a Toro and X-Mark bagging at $3,600. You could probably get it cheaper somewhere else, but that was the dealer price, was $3,600. A great way to lose money in lawn care is to bag lawns. I bagged them for over a decade, way up, like 13, 14 years. I dumped into the truck. We would take the truck at night, go dump it. Once you unhook the trailer and you go dump your truck, you got to add that time in, especially if you're running crews, because sometimes I would have my guys go do it. Hey, just go dump that truck. I don't want to do it. Well, what if they're sitting on overtime? Because on Thursday afternoon, you're sitting on overtime and you got guys dumping a truck and it takes an hour, you have 20 minutes up, 10 minutes to dump, 20 minutes back, or better yet, you're paying to dump. The only way I would ever suggest you guys to bag, because you can cut your lifespan of your machine. If it's going to go 3,000 hours, you're going to start having serious issues around 1,500. Pumps, motor, all kind. Listen, that pump right there, one side is $1,800. And it's definitely going to go when you're running heavy baggers. What I suggest is finding a deck where you, at the most, you can double cut or triple cut a lawn and be in and out. I've timed it. I can bag a lawn up. By the time you go dump it, you put it in the truck, you dump the bag, then at the end of the day, you go dump the truck because you got a truck full of grass. By the time you dump it, you're not saving any time. So it's just better just to find a deck that can double, triple cut when you have to and get it done with. I'm done with bagging. This is just, right now, this is just for my convenience. It's just, I wouldn't even own it. I'm telling you, bagging is foolish. $3,200 for this. Dump your truck, jump up in the truck. When you get older, you get tired of jumping up in the truck and dumping it. So guys, I hope you find that helpful. Hope you find this informative. And remember, when you buy deck, when you buy mower, it's deck first. Deck first. See you guys.